don't have a special intro this week because there's two people who aren't regularly in the show, and I have no idea how to gauge them. There, that was my opening joke.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess intros or whatever.
Was that your intro?
That was my intro, yeah. That's how I do cold openings every show. Usually with some kind of joke that Hunter fucking...
Fuck you, Marvel!
Oh,
okay,
my
God.
God. Well,
all right,
that's for...
You know, I agree, but for different reasons.
Thanks
That's
some new headphones that are completely destroyed.
Let's do introductions of everybody's names, I guess, and stuff. And
That was Alan.
Hi, everybody.
Alan, you can start now for that outburst.
No, I'm not giving the audience anything.
Okay, well, we're asking for your name so Andrew Littler doesn't get confused as to who you are.
Oh, he can fuck off.
Well, I don't matter. I don't care. We're going to run this bit into the ground. Introduce yourself.
I'm Alan motherfucking Muir.
That's right. I am Marlon Horo. Littler. This is what my voice sounds like.
I'm Connor McGraw, and I'm dead already. This is it.
I'm Eric Fedorchak. I'm just here for the pasta.
Yeah. Another returning guest, and also Andy for his third time on the show. Yay!
Iron Fist was better.
Oh God!
I've just now chronicled his last appearance in the show. It was right then and there.
I'm just kidding. I haven't seen Iron Fist.
Okay, thank God. I can put down my gun. Then what do you... Well, our professionalism is shining through.
He has definitely seen it. He gave us some very specific details last week, so... All right.
I made those up.
Wow, you're really good at guessing that.
It's very paint by the numbers.
I mean, in all fairness, Alan didn't watch Defenders on time either, so...
Yeah.
I saw 7 yesterday and 8 today.
Alan.
He's watching
Alan,
8 right now.
2 weeks after Defenders aired, you still hadn't watched it, and then 4 weeks after Defenders airs, you finished it.
Yeah.
We will be recording the first
It's fresh in his mind.
We'll be recording the first episode for Daredevil Season 3, and Alan will still not have finished Season 2.
No, I actually want to because of the ending, of how everything ended.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing like retroactively realizing you need to finish a show that came before the one you just watched.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. God damn it, Alan.
And
I kind of
it's
lucked
not-
out.
It's not like anything is connected or anything like that either. So
Right. It's not like anything plays into the next thing and has an effect on it or anything like that.
Come on.
Yeah.
It's all connected. Except the things that aren't connected, like the TV and the movies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, look. The only way I can summarize this whole, the only metaphor I can make is, or comparison is, a Marvel fan who reads Kingdom Come.
Okay. That's...
Wait, what?
Okay, I see what you're getting at.
No, my nose is bleeding. I need an explanation.
Your problem is
I
you're
don't know
not a
what
Marvel
things to be
fan.
compared in this, like or as.
No, it's as if a Marvel fan read Kingdom Come.
What is?
Oh, okay. So you're saying
Defenders?
watching this or watching the Netflix shows is like that?
What are we
Is that what you're... I'm confused as well.
So confused.
Okay, I'm gonna try and break this down. So, Alan, are you saying the reason you didn't finish Daredevil Season 2, which came out 2 years ago now, you didn't finish it because for you it is like if you were a hardcore Marvel fanboy reading Kingdom Come?
Which is a hardcore DC book that has a whole bunch
Funny
of lore.
story about Kingdom Come. I was a hardcore Marvel fan when I read it, and then I became a DC hardcore.
Yeah, so I feel like that metaphor falls apart a little bit.
I need oxygen. This doesn't. What is happening?
I think
I don't
Andy's
know.
actually dying.
I had the same thing, Connor. Like I was.
You know what?
a
I'm going to say
Marvel
something
fan.
controversial. I agree, Alan.
Shit.
Just keep feeding that fire. Just keep feeding it. Let's see where this goes.
Yeah, this is an interesting show so far.
This is a wholly unpredicted direction the show has taken.
Yep. Could not have.
When I woke up this morning, punched into work, and then punched out of work and got home, I was not prepared for all that just transpired.
Because you didn't let me finish my point.
Well, okay, we were trying to understand your point that you had made so far, so please continue.
A hardcore Marvel fan reads Kingdom Come. They don't understand most of it.
They don't understand the in references.
Yeah.
And then when that person reads more DC stuff and goes back,
but okay,
discovers new things.
If you're talking about Defenders, that's understandable. We're talking about Daredevil Season 2.
And Jessica Jones.
That's fair.
Let's just throw that in there, too.
Oh, you haven't watched Jessica Jones either?
Get back here, Jessica.
Is that your David Tennant impression? Because it's pretty damn good.
Hey guys, my name's David Tennant. Get back here, Jessica.
Get back, Jessica.
What's your accent there? That's pretty much the only thing missing.
Yeah. It's pretty good though.
I was Mad-Eye Moody for most of the movie.
So, Alan, you're saying that because you haven't read all of Alias, which is understandable because most people haven't read all of Alias. I hadn't until after I'd watched the show.
You take that back right the fuck now.
Yeah. And because you hadn't read, I don't know, what are the Daredevil runs that match up with Season 2? Would it be...
Mostly Frank Miller.
Yeah, just Frank Miller, and then is there a Punisher run it matches up with? That one where he ties up?
That was actually taken from the Ennis Punisher run.
Okay. All right, so yeah.
There's a character from Max in there, isn't there?
If there is, I don't remember who it is.
The Irish guy, right?
Yeah, it's one of the Irish guys.
Yeah, there is.
He's the bomb survivor in Max who has the face mask.
Yep, you are correct. I totally
forgot about that. In this one, he gets his face destroyed again, but it's not reparable. He doesn't get a face mask to fix it.
No. Yeah, I totally forgot about him.
So Alan didn't, basically, he would have had to have read some pretty, I'm not going to say obscure Daredevil stuff, but fairly widely known Daredevil stuff that I haven't read, but I know it. Like, I know what the basic gist of those stories are. So, Alan, is that your reason for not finishing Daredevil Season 2?
Well, also BVS.
Yeah, you've told me this before.
Okay, nope, that's confusing as fuck.
No, I understand it. I understand
because
his reasoning for it. Right after BVS, I could understand like being put off by how dark it was, and not wanting to watch something that was a similar tone.
Okay, that makes a little more sense.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I personally don't understand that because Daredevil is so much more well done.
Daredevil's way more fun than BVS.
And BVS is a giant steaming pile of trash. Like
it is a boil upon the skin of the earth.
Mm-hmm. Lots of problems.
It's a terrible movie that I willfully fell asleep to the other night because I wanted to watch it.
You wanted to watch it?
Wow.
That's
surprising. I scrolled through a list of movies and was like, fuck it. I'll watch Batman vs. Superman.
To be fair, I think about rewatching that movie more than I think about rewatching most movies.
Anytime someone brings up the fact like, oh, you're just biased against that movie, I was like, you want to know how I'm not biased? I will willfully put it on in my spare time just to watch it. And then when it's over, I go, I hate that movie. I love that movie. And then I move on.
Yep. Yeah. I will watch the 3-hour cut.
I only watch the 3-hour cut.
Yeah, same here.
That movie is captivating.
It is. And you watch it and you're like, oh, this is a good 15 minutes right here.
Are we talking about the same movie?
Oh, BBS?
It's the same reason why I watched Death Note twice, because I laughed at it harder the second time.
Oh, God, I almost watched that on Friday, and I just couldn't bring myself to do it.
God, that movie's a blast. For all the wrong reasons. It's so much fun.
Okay, so I think we've gotten to the bottom of why Alan is still taking so long. It doesn't matter because, again, you've had 2 years to do this, Alan.
Technically, I've had 3 years for Jessica Jones. No. Yeah, 3 years.
No, you're coming up on 3 years because Jessica Jones came out around Thanksgiving.
I like how he took the shove out of your hand and just dug the hole deeper himself.
Yeah, totally.
It's like, nah, instead it was actually 3 years.
Here's the thing, you didn't even need to watch Jessica Jones because we told you before this show even came on the air, Kilgrave has nothing to do with this show. There are 2 mentions in this whole show that I can remember off the top of my head. That means that there's probably actually 4 in the whole entire show.
There is a mention of what happened.
Yeah.
Of Jessica apologizing to Luke.
Yeah, and like the fact that she killed someone or whatever. Yeah, okay.
Daredevil, Matt drops him by name drops him explicitly.
Yeah. There is otherwise no mention of Kilgrave. You just need to have seen an episode and a couple clips to know who he is. Nothing else from Jessica Jones transfers over except for Hellcat, Patsy or whatever. Everything else. Her and Malcolm, they come over and they're in this show for a total of 5 minutes, maybe. That's the problem I have with this whole show overall in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, we talked about that, I think, in the Part 1 review.
We also brought it up in the last episode, too.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a persistent problem. So you didn't need to see Jessica Jones. I remember distinctly when we first started this show telling you that you need to watch Daredevil Season 2 because we knew Defenders was going to happen. We were planning on this show a year ago, and we were telling you probably need to watch it before we get to Defenders.
Yeah,
and then Alan was like, I'm going to buy Inhumans Season 1.
I didn't buy it.
Oh, no.
I did not. Oh, no. I did not buy that. I bought the rest of Secret Empire instead.
Okay. Good choice. Much better choice.
I guess.
And if you could only see the private conversations where it was like
it's an ongoing
fucking violent negotiation.
We'll be talking about whatever, and then Alan will be like, "Hey, I'm going to do whatever A," and we're all like, "Why would you do A? We told you before not to do A." He's like,
and then 2 days
because
later,
he's like,
what if I do just this? And we're like, stop trying to change the way you're trying to say this. Like
you sound like an abused wife. Like, just stop, stop.
An abused wife trying to kill her husband.
Yeah, kind of.
Like, no, I can do this to make him change. I can do this to make a change.
If I just watch the finale and the ending, it will be okay.
Only by the episodes not written by Scott Buck.
And then I try to go, what if I only get the good reviewed episodes?
Which is actually a fair thing that you put out there, and I still encourage you on. If you hear that their episodes are good, or that you see them, and you think they are good, go ahead and buy those ones.
Yeah, and here's the thing, like, I think one of the points you brought up, you're like, you said Iron Fist had good episodes. Yeah, later in the series, like, the last quarter has a few episodes sandwiched in there that are decent. That doesn't mean I would buy the whole season before it even hit television.
Mm-hmm.
That's insanity.
Yeah, that would be literally insane. Okay. All right, that's a lot of stuff that we had to get out of the way.
7.
Yeah. I think we should just talk about these two as one episode. Kind of.
That's fine with me.
Well, I mean, they dovetail
largely
together
take place
really
in the
well.
same location, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they spent a lot of time deciding whether or not they're going to blow the building up, which was unnecessary.
This show is bad.
Can I?
No, here's the thing. These last 2 hours...
Not bad.
I'm kidding.
These last 2 hours are
when you're kidding,
far
no problem.
less good than
Can
the
I say
first
Fuss Roda?
6.
Well, the thing was with episode 7, like, it was so disappointing because that's when you actually got to have, like, Foggy be Foggy for the first time, I feel like, in the entire series.
Honestly,
Yeah.
like, I've seen clips and stuff from season 2 of Daredevil with Foggy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Was he this well written in season 2?
Yeah,
Yeah.
in parts.
Yeah.
There are a couple episodes I found him
Foggy's
grating.
great.
Yeah,
Because-
but he's mostly great.
One of the the criticisms or the critic things against Eldon Hansen
In the first season, yeah.
was
is
that he was
he's-
basically the fat best friend.
Yeah, and he's kind of annoying.
She's a mighty duck, damn it.
Yeah,
That is also true.
He's
So like that,
right?
yeah, I think he is.
What?
I don't know.
Isn't he from the Mighty Ducks?
Yeah.
Which one is he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the big kid
Yeah.
that is like 30 years older than everyone else.
Yeah, and then he shows up looking exactly the same in the Hunger
Yeah,
Games
he's the
films.
scary-ass goalie.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah,
The one that makes 1 in 8 shots.
God damn it.
But when he makes it, he makes it. Can we just talk about Mighty Ducks?
I guess that's what we want to do.
No joke. I haven't seen 1 or 2 because 3 never happened. I haven't seen 1 or 2 in
I disagree.
20 years.
3 is worth it for the wheelchair scene.
Did they get the Burger King Kids Club in there?
Remember what you're talking about. That's how long it's been. Anyway.
Yeah. So back to Defenders.
There was a skeleton.
Yeah, there was a dragon skeleton.
In New York? How does that happen?
I guess because dragons used to roam the earth. I guess.
Yeah, well, I mean, Gao even says something along the lines of, like, these things used to roam the fields near my villages or something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
Before there was light and dark, there was just gray and only everlasting dragons. The Dark Souls bit, and I was hoping someone would catch it ahead of time, but never mind!
No, I had a feeling you were going there.
Yeah.
I still have that, and with that...
Defenders is a long sequel to Dark Souls. There's your answer.
This explains so much.
I'm just waiting for a giant lightning bolt to hit New York and see Gwen.
Oh, God.
Yeah, Dragon Bones. So the Hands plot, okay. You guys were saying earlier about how these are kind of weak episodes. Kind of agree, because I think that all the Netflix shows overall kind of have a thing with finales.
Yeah, they're not good at endings.
Quite as punchy as the beginning or middle of the show.
Yeah. I mean, usually they're very good at, like, the last 5 minutes. The last 5 minutes of Daredevil Season 2, Frank shows up, and suddenly it becomes amazing.
I said again, 1 ninja is cool. 500 ninjas is not as fun.
Yeah.
Especially when one man and one woman are taking just all of them to fucking town.
Yeah. But Frank shooting 10 of those ninjas, that's cool.
That's fine with me.
Yeah.
It's kind of a similar problem in Daredevil Season 1 when he fights Fisk. Like, he gets in costume, and then he just shows up, he beats the fuck out of Fisk, and then he's like, ha, I win! And then it wraps up.
Yeah.
Well,
I actually like that.
In the defense of 500 ninjas not being as cool, like, the one thing with the Hand in the comics was that whenever they would, like, basically kill them, like, they would turn to dust, and it takes a lot of the impact out of that when you have to have live people actually, having effects done to them. So they're just like, all right, so there's 500 ninjas, but let's just have them get knocked out. Like, I think it would have much cooler effect if they were actually getting turned into dust when they were being killed accidentally or otherwise by the
people
superheroes.
Would think they're vampires based on Blade.
Yeah.
So they'd be better off as Putty Patrol, is what you're saying.
Well, I mean, Apocalypse with Ivan Ooze, so.
Oh, God.
Andy, that is really scary. Good. I think that's you.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know what we're doing.
We're so derailed.
I don't know what we're doing.
No, I heard it in the background again. I forgot what I was going to say.
Okay, Jesus Christ. All
right.
Okay, yeah, this is a long-ass weekend, I gotta say that much.
Basically, Matt is the big hero of these 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Matt is the Iron Man of this whole series, so.
That's a given, yeah.
Yeah, he really does Iron Man this shit, doesn't he, at the end? Like, he sacrifices himself so everybody else can get away, and he has that, or sort of Tom Hanks moment from the end of Saving Private Ryan with Danny. The end of Big. Oh, God.
He turns back into a small boy.
Yeah, he turns into a small boy wearing the
he's right in front of that big old pile of chemicals right before he gets blinded.
God damn.
This whole thing's a dream.
Oh, wow. That would be interesting. But yeah, no, he's earned this.
I don't think Elektra is that captivating of a villain, to be honest.
Oh, I agree.
They definitely wasted her a lot, I think, in this entire series.
Her
because like
accent gets real old real quick.
That instead of like keeping her humanity like kind of ambiguous, she flat out comes out like, "No, I fucking like killing. This is fun for me." Ha!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
I'm like, oh, you
we're
just totally
forgetting-
lifted the veil off of how evil and like,
We're forgetting the intro scene to episode 7
are we?
with
obviously.
Stick and Elektra talking about trying to bring Matt into the chase.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
and Stick murders.
Well-
Electro murders Stick.
No,
that was the end of
six.
episode 6 when they had her and him talking
It's
about
a-
trying to bring.
7 opens with a flashback.
Yeah.
Oh,
to
really?
Season
Okay.
2 of Daredevil.
Oh, yeah. I totally forgot about this.
Okay.
Yeah.
But still, no, like it having her come out and just be like, yeah, I like killing, and I've always been this way. Totally like shattered anything that might have been interesting to her about being kind of, I don't know, anything but that.
Yeah. She she monologues.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like
If
she
the
goes
initial
into
I have with Zoom in Flash season 2, where it's like, why are you evil? Oh, because I like it. Oh.
yeah. Like it's not even like she wants revenge or anything. It's like, oh, well, this is what I want to do now because I've suddenly decided that this is my thing. So fear me or whatever.
That was the thing. Like all through this series, like her being ambiguous. Well, not ambiguously evil. I mean, she was evil, but you didn't have a sense as if she had any actual control over what she was doing.
And
like,
she also had moments where she stopped before she killed Matt, which is like,
Exactly.
oh, something bubbling under there. And then at the end, she's like, nah, bro, I'm just evil.
Well, and beyond that,
until
like,
the very last moment where she suddenly is good again, and she's like, "Well, we are together, aren't we?" And it's by the time we get to that moment, it doesn't feel earned at all.
Bitch!
Well, that and in episode 6, I guess it was, when she and Alexandra are talking in the graveyard, like, they seem to give her some motivation for why she would kill her and take over the hand, so she could have an unlimited supply of the substance, and then, nah, whatever. Nah, I just like killing. Who cares?
Yeah. Her whole thing is immortality or whatever, which is... A character who wants immortality is the
It's
least... Yeah, it's the least interesting thing. Like... Period. Like, it's more interesting when there's a villain... I can't remember what movie it is, but there's a movie where the villain is immortal already and he wants to die. That's his ultimate goal in life. And that's interesting. Yeah, that is... I think that is it.
No, it's...
what movie?
Andy said the Wolverine, but it's actually the opposite. He
Oh,
wants to...
shit.
No.
Which one? Yeah.
Well, I consider that character to be the hero and Logan to be the villain. No, that's one way.
Should have an old man, basically.
He kind of does. He kills an old Japanese war hero, so yeah, it's like I don't know.
Nothing about this is right.
Yeah, I cannot remember what movie it is, but there's a movie where the villain is immortal and he just wants to die. That's his whole motivation, is to live more life.
I brought up Frieza because, like, when your villain has no motivations but immortality, you come across like a one-dimensional Dragon Ball Z villain, and Dragon Ball Z villains are all one-dimensional.
Yeah. Like, what's Cell one?
Fuck you. Tao Pai Pai was the man.
I don't even know who that is.
Is that a Red Ribbon person or whatever?
Yeah. He's the one who would like knock down trees and then like throw them and then like ride on them to travel.
Okay, well,
like,
everything I've heard about Dragon Ball, which I've never finished, is that it's better written than Dragon Ball Z.
Does he kill the Tower Guardian? Is that who that is?
No, but he is trying to get to him.
Okay. Well, no, because there's the guy who's at the base of the
kills
tower.
that little Indian boy's father.
Yeah, that's who I'm talking about. He's the guardian of that tower. Guys, believe it or not, part of why I don't like anime is because I know a lot about anime.
I'm literally stunned right now.
That's saying
yeah.
you hate porn because you watch a lot of porn.
That's a very
Alan,
valid thing to say, actually.
maybe. Probably.
Alan, how much porn have you watched?
Oh God.
Don't ask
No.
Alan this. Do not put him on the spot.
No.
We don't want the answer to that. I guarantee it.
Floodgates open.
Oh God.
Oh God, we're already off the rails. Okay, I don't think there's really much to say about this episode since.
Train's been off the track since we started, buddy.
So I guess we can just do
The real
like,
meat is in episode 8. Simply titled "The Defenders."
Yeah, and yeah, I don't think the action sequences are that good in the finale, which is not. Like there are moments that are really cool, like when Jessica basically
Fan
saves.
service, like
Yeah,
It's
Yeah, when
little
Jessica
moments
saves
that kind of make it up.
Well,
Yeah.
and that was something that slightly bothered me too with the final battle in episode 8. That's the first time I feel like in the entire series you've seen Jessica actually like using her strength against other people. Like all the other fights, it seems like she's just pulling all her punches, but in this one she's actually like knocking guys into walls and like using her strength not to its
literally
fullest.
picked the guy up and Luke caged him to the ceiling.
Yeah.
The other half of that is the moment when she catches the elevator cord and lifts them up.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
it was
it's a
really fucking cool.
That's one of the best moments of the whole episode.
Also,
yeah.
why were they so shocked?
Because
she's a woman.
Also because they don't like it's.
Tell me I'm wrong.
It's one of the biggest displays of her powers since not even just Defenders since like the beginning of Jessica Jones.
Yeah. She really
It's the biggest thing she's done with her abilities across both.
Yeah. Like you really don't see how powerful she is. They never really give you a good look at it.
Unlike
really.
Danny, whose like character trait is M Iron Fist.
Oh, Connor, do you want to bring up
Yeah.
that thing that happened to you?
On the hang on. And then Jessica's not defined by her powers, so like it kind of takes a backseat to her personality and stuff like that. But no, I was sitting in the bus yesterday next to someone who looked suspiciously like Danny Rand, and he
Orphan Jones.
was very clearly homeless, so it really kind of added to the effect of Iron Fist Season 1, and he just kept having these like closed eyes fits, and I was like, he's going to lean over in 2 seconds and tell me he's the immortal
Were they
Iron
Iron Fits?
Hugging, damn it.
Oh God damn it! Oh.
Buzzing.
If I could physically shake your hand right now, I actually would.
Andy wins.
That was fucking awesome.
Jesus Christ!
My
A
story
Falcon is
good.
going to swipe down and give you flashbacks now. Okay.
Speaking of that, yeah, we like Danny does more glowy fisty nonsense.
He gets
That's just-
tricked into opening that wall because
Idiot.
He'll-
He's like, I'm not gonna open this wall, and then he opens the wall.
and then it's always sunny text. Danny opens the wall.
yeah, Randy Dan returns.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Doesn't he wake up and like the wall has been opened?
yep.
No, it's
Well, no, he woke up at the end of episode 7 and like he saw the dragon bones above him, and like it begins to pan out, and you see more of the dragon bones in the underground area that they're in, I guess.
Okay,
Oh,
let's
yeah, you're right.
I mean, we probably talked about it before, but like, ultimately, the hand collectively is not that interesting.
Nope.
No,
Yeah,
not
because
really.
their plan isn't that cool. Like,
Yeah.
it's just to blow up part of the city to cover up where they were, like, and what they were doing.
Pieces
That
because
and-
I tuned in for a team up show, and I wasn't really expecting because if they're relying on the hand, like the hand hasn't been interesting yet, so I'm like, whatever, I don't care. Like I'm going to see like characters I like go fucking pal around. But the
And you
hand
didn't even get that until
so
later in the show.
yeah, like it comes in certain doses, but I was okay with it. The hand is so like I'm glad we're done with them. Is more
Kind of. I think they'll be more interesting later on because they'll be more unpredictable, I assume. So I hope, like, because they're
Okay,
going to
talk
come
about
back
that-
at some
that's
point.
it.
Okay,
but-
if they're unpredictable, can they come back with fucking cyber raptors?
right. Like, that would be cool. Or sharks. Like, they come up with, like, or
Land
like,
sharks?
animal people or something. Like, there's all kinds of things that they could do. Because,
I think some of
They
the reason why
rebrand to the foot.
God damn it.
I think
Then-
some of the
Then these
reason
four
the,
turtles show up.
I think some of the reason the hand seems so toothless was because you get to see the inner workings of their leaders, and none of them either A, know anything about anything, and B, specifically their leader knows absolutely nothing about these people.
In a very what could be perceived as a terrible pun, that's also a good way to phrase this. Like the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Actually,
None of
them-
I have another way.
We
I
talked
have
about
another
this.
analog to this,
Yes.
or way to describe it.
It's like reading Kingdom Come as.
God damn it!
Wonderful callback.
It's like when you're playing a cover-based shooter, and you kind of get your the boss, say, has a tiny bit of health, but there's a whole swarm of people firing at you, and you're trying to just fucking get this shit over with.
Right.
And it felt like they were all trying to become. They were trying to race down to the victory.
Right.
So you're basically saying they were like, "Fuck the details, let's just get this shit done."
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Except for Bakudo, he just made an stupid decision.
Yeah, didn't go after Colleen on his own, and like, yeah, it got real dumb there.
He's like, "You're my best student. There's no way this could go sideways."
And then sexy Will Graham shows up and gets her arm cut off. So that was interesting.
Well, that is what I wanted to talk about last week.
Yeah, we didn't want to tell you what happened, but yeah,
there's already Luke Cage season 2 pictures out with her new arm anyway.
Yeah,
and
so it went exactly where we all thought it was going to go, which is fine.
Well, it's I mean, it's a well-known fact if you know anything about the character from the comics that she has a cybernetic arm. So
yeah, now we were just unsure if they would ever do it though.
Here's the fun question: will the arm come from something like? Will they try to do a Vane connection to the MCU? It's like, oh yeah, it's from Stark Industries.
I think,
I was.
Or will they just basically phase out Stark's name altogether and just start using Rand?
I think they'll do a combination. I think it's like it's a Stark design, but it's built
improved upon by Rand Tech or something along those lines.
It's like a I don't know. It's a patented thing, so they pay to use the patent and then they reproduce their own, and that's because that just seems more plausible than buying one from Tony directly. Just make your own and make improvements specialized to Missy's need.
In canon, someone goes to Tony Stark and says, "Hey, Danny Rand would like to give you a phone call." Who?
Oh, I heard
the fuck is that?
Iron Fist. Well, no, I mean, I think they were kind of hinting at that at the very end when Misty's in the hospital, and they're like, Danny's. How did they put it? Like he has influence here.
It's his hospital.
And they're like, oh yeah, it's his hospital.
It's
so I mean,
which is the thing I liked about their use of Danny. Like, instead of making him still kind of rock stupid, is that they gave him a few moments where it seemed like he was doing decent things with all this fucking wealth he suddenly has.
Yeah.
Also, there's a line set that Feige says about what ultimately happens, how Matt goes out.
Yeah, well, okay. Do they answer how they explain Matt's disappearance? Because I think I missed it.
They say he was kidnapped.
He fixed the autopilot.
Oh, God damn it. That was so good, too. Fuck.
God damn it, Andy. Just a sniper.
Andy just fucking just like push-ups before we start the show. He's like, I'm going to kill it. I'm going to kill it. I'm going to kill it. I'm going to kill it.
Yeah.
He's just the one arm. He's like, you got this. You got this.
No, I mean, I thought there was one point where Matt's walking with Luke and Jessica and says something along the lines of like, "Oh yeah, there's APB on us, and they think you guys kidnapped me."
Oh, okay.
It's shortly after they bust out.
Okay, I remember that. I thought there was. I wasn't sure if there was a. Not to ride the joke. And he just said like, was a Dark Knight Rises-esque like, it's like Bruce Wayne killed. Oh, so is Batman.
I remember something about like
No, it was Karen working on
yeah.
And she said if someone like me could figure it out. Like she didn't say anything about.
She said that she wasn't going to say that they were both there.
Yeah.
So she wasn't going to write a story that said the Devil of Hell's Kitchen and Matt Murdock were both there.
Yeah.
So she wasn't going to say that
she wasn't going to out him.
No. Yeah. So the Devil of Hell's Kitchen was never there as far as the public knows. Matt Murdock was there. And he was helpful in some way. He was probably... Maybe the story is like he set off the bombs, and that's what everybody thinks.
Okay, that's a fine explanation.
Yeah,
it's probably makes more sense than like it probably makes more sense than both collectively Bruce Wayne and Batman and Superman and Clark Kent all dying at the same time and no one going, huh?
Yeah.
Did you ever see those guys together?
No, I guess we didn't, huh? That's what somebody should have done.
They have similar chins. Anyway, the weather's gonna be weird today.
Jim Gordon. Oh, the coat. Yeah. All right. I mean, does anyone have like any other moments from either of these two episodes that?
Yeah, the scene that nearly made me cry.
The what?
There's this
What scene almost made you cry?
when they're basically the 9/11.
Oh, okay. I get that. It wasn't done very well. That's another criticism I have is the dust basically stays in that city block. And nobody is like covered in it or anything.
It's
It's very sterile. At least to me, it seems sterile. So, yeah.
Well, no,
The one thing-
I mean, like when they all got back to this station.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, they're
yeah.
waiting for Matt to come to the door?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a rough
Oh,
moment.
yeah.
That's a little rough.
Yeah.
That got me.
And that's just because their performances, like everybody else is celebrating and having a good time, and just the looks on their faces, like, yeah, we know he's not coming back, but up until the moment he doesn't walk through the door, just like, yeah, those two killed it, I thought.
The during the final fight, or the fight in the Dragon Caves, whatever you want to call it, I kind of feel like the showrunners of the Defenders, or at least whoever wrote this particular episode, I feel like the one jury member on the Martin Shkreli trial who said, like, and he disrespected the Wu-Tang, I feel like their use of protect your neck was the worst choice. They're
I
just
agree.
like, well, Luke
I'm
is
right
going to
with
do
you, man.
something. Luke's going to do something, so let's throw some Wu-Tang in. Like, fuck you. Fuck
Yeah.
you, pandering pricks.
Yeah, that's another thing. So this
That
goes
only
back to
goes to Luke Cage.
yeah.
No.
Well, no. Okay, so here's the thing: it doesn't work.
Martial arts cinema, and like,
Yeah.
Yeah, if it would
there's
have
kind
been...
of weird influences on Daredevil and Iron Fist, and like, there's the hip hop influence over Luke Cage, obviously. Jessica Jones is the weird one.
Yeah.
But, I mean, even in Luke Cage, like, the first time you hear Wu-Tang drop in is, like, when they're playing Bring the blank ruckus, because they edited it out, is when he's, like, wrecking up that one, the criminal base,
Christmas
whatever.
Addicts.
Yeah.
And
building.
it's energetic. You think it's coming from his headphones?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it works perfectly. But this,
Well-
like, it felt very pandering.
It's
Well, the whole
it's-
soundtrack
it's-
of Luke Cage is like that, though. It's a lot of that kind of music. But
No,
I think
agree. It's kind of jarring when it just pops into Defenders, because I was expecting
Yeah.
like a score, and I got this.
yeah, that's what I wanted
I wasn't
to.
really bothered by it. I was like, oh, okay, there's that.
Yeah, and it speaks to a larger problem that I've had, is that this show is very Daredevil focused, and I understand after seeing the finale why it is so Daredevil focused, because it's his story at the end of
Yeah.
it, and it's the
Yeah.
story of how like and this is something I did like at the end. He makes them all realize that this is what they're supposed to be doing. Danny
Yeah.
is supposed to continue fighting this fight, and at the end, he has no doubts, and that he's
that
supposed to stay in New
scene
York.
at the end with him
With the-
perched made me
Yeah.
so angry.
I really liked that, actually.
Yeah,
Wait,
really.
was that Danny?
Yeah, that was
Yeah, it was
because-
Danny,
Oh,
and
okay.
he lights his light up in solidarity, like.
Well, the other thing was, though, with that particular scene with Danny when he was crouched, like, before you saw that it was him and he lit up his iron fist, like, at first I'm like, oh, is that going to be Matt somehow? Because I feel like, and maybe I'm completely off, I feel like that was kind of a play on, there's a storyline in the Bendis run of Daredevil that Iron Fist took over for him for a bit.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was kind of alluding to that a little bit.
And I wouldn't be surprised if they do a version of that, like he sort of.
That is okay with me, because it's, as long as they're doing stuff with Danny that doesn't make him such like a fucking self-absorbed, clueless klutz, I'm
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
okay with it. So if he's
And
doing something to really honor someone else who kind of had an influence on him, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, and that's something I really liked, is we see this character of Danny. He grows up a little bit by the end of this
Yeah.
because he's had
Yeah.
an influence on him.
They take from him Iron Fist and have an entire season where people just call him on his shit.
Mm-hmm.
Luke,
Yeah.
Colleen, like everybody, fucking.
Yeah, it's really good by the end of it. And
Because
then
they treat him like a fucking child because he is, and then at the end of it, he comes out, I think, a better character.
and he inspires Jessica too. Like she knows what she has to do now. She has to take that paper off her door, and she needs to get back to doing what she does.
Does anyone know when Jessica and Luke are in the bar, or when Luke visits the bar, and when Jessica's there. Is he making a reference when he says he has someone back at Harlem? In Harlem, is there?
I don't remember
I felt
specifics
he
of that
was
moment.
just telling her, like, you've got a friend in Harlem.
Okay,
Yeah,
I think that was it.
I think that's what that was. And it's like,
I like that they're aware of each other now because it's less. I feel like it's more plausible for, at least logistically, for one of them just pop up in the other show even for a minute because they live like fucking within a few city blocks.
Yeah.
Well, they don't have the hand wavy excuse the Avengers. It's like, oh well, Tony was in Istanbul when the Winter Soldier happened.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do hope, like, when Matt has to explain to the world how he is alive, and he probably comes back as Daredevil first, like, I hope there's a moment where he, like, stops by Jessica's office, or, like, stops by Luke and, I don't know, Claire coming home from, like, a movie or something, and he just, like, lets them know I'm back, basically.
Yeah.
And, like, he beats up a criminal, and then they're like, oh,
Please
shit,
let it
he's
be
back.
dark.
Well, I mean, like, random criminals.
That'd
like,
be the best, actually.
But yeah, like, anything. Like, him letting them know first is something that they need to do. I
You
hope.
just see Turk just like strung up like on a fucking street light with just a baton wrapped around his feet, and
Okay,
he's like,
that would be
"Oh man,
But I'm glad to see you back. Yeah.
like, it's good to see you guys. I'm in trouble."
I was listening to the iFanboy reaction to or their review of Defenders just last night, and I brought this up to Eric, and they surmise that they may be setting up for Daredevil season 3 the Born Again storyline.
I think
Well,
that's the
that's-
general thought.
Yeah.
It is, but I feel like they're skipping a lot. I mean, I haven't read Born Again in a very long time, but
I'm just like super excited about it too.
the part where Matt's waking up in the nunnery, like, if I remember correctly, that was after a lot of really hinky shit happened that involved Karen Page and Wilson Fisk. I mean, I could be completely wrong, but yeah, there's a lot of things that they might not be doing because Karen's a pretty big part of the Daredevil series itself, not
Well-
the Defenders.
Goes down a really fucked up path.
Oh yeah, she becomes a porn star, or she goes to Mexico to. She goes to Hollywood to try and become a star, or at least an actress, and then ends up getting involved in porn in Mexico, and then sells Matt's identity as Daredevil, or vice versa, for a shot.
Yeah.
Nice.
Was it
no.
Kevin Smith? Was it his run that when she had?
Yeah, when Bullseye took her out.
No, not whose run was it? When she came back and she said she had, I think, HIV.
AIDS.
AIDS. Yeah. Who's
Yeah, I believe that was the Kevin Smith run as well.
The destruction of a character.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this was when she.
This was Marvel Knights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was Kevin Smith trying to be edgy, so.
Also,
right.
Another book that was running.
Get things like us.
Another book that was running around the time of Marvel Knights, Inhumans. Yeah.
Shut
Yeah,
up.
but that's actually a really great
Yeah,
run
yeah,
from
I
Jay
know,
Lee.
I know.
So.
You know what sucks is that if this show is as bad as we hear it is, like the mention of Inhumans, comic book or not, is going to make people just go. Ugh.
Yeah.
No, Ike still has power.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so I guess this is a natural sort of turnover into state of the NMCU.
Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah. So yeah, like, based off my very basic understanding of Born Again, that story, the basic gist of it is Matt's real life gets destroyed.
Yeah.
That's really hard to set up in a whole entire third season of a show where his life has already been destroyed.
Well,
Yeah,
it goes
nothing going into Defenders. Like, he was living off the generosity of people around him and taking cases for free.
Mhm.
Well, and beyond that, in the Born Again storyline, like, he was destitute, homeless, and partially crazy. Like,
Fun.
so things
It's
were
gonna be a big
things were a little bit different than I think they could possibly ever hope to do with storyline
Yeah.
like that.
I think season 3 is going to be a little bit different. I think if they do Born Again, based off of what I know, they'll do it in season 4-ish.
Yeah.
Also,
If they do it.
when Kingpin eventually gets out of jail, there was that scene in season 2
Mm-hmm.
between him and Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah, doesn't
Yeah.
he say like when he gets out, he's gonna find him and just like ruin him?
Him,
Yeah.
Foggy, Karen.
And I do think they are setting up Born Again there, but I don't think they'll do it immediately in season 3. I think they'll do something else with it. Because there are a lot of other Daredevil villains I'm sure that they can pull from.
Maybe they'll do the storyline where Matt Murdock claimed he was his cousin and Daredevil wasn't him.
Oh, shit. Because that's
Look it up. Look
That's
it
what
up.
we want.
Or how about the one where he gets edgy armor from the 90s? That would be great.
Oh,
I mean, his
God.
fucking red and yellow armor?
No, red and yellow was his first costume. He has like black and red armor with like silver shoulder pauldrons.
Never mind. I've seen this.
Didn't they bring that back when they a similar looking costume back like 2 years ago?
I don't remember. I
saw
mean,
that. He looks in that armor. He looks like a fucking Spawn character.
Yeah, he does. He
the
does.
Charles Soule, current ongoing.
Oh, I haven't read any of that. I don't know. I mean, it looks somewhat similar from the little bits I've seen, but yeah, I can't say for sure.
All right, and so I guess the next one, because Daredevil is nebulous, so we don't know what might happen.
We know it is happening because they're not going to bail
Yeah,
it. Like,
they announced it, and that's the thing. They've announced that these other shows are coming, and we've known quite a bit about Jessica Jones for a while. We know they announced all-female directing for the whole season.
that's fucking bad.
Yeah,
That is awesome.
yeah, it's just like, yeah, why not? You know, you have the ability to do that, so do it.
That's good for all their fucking resumes too. Of these probably women who can't find jobs in this fucking stupid ass industry.
Yeah, yeah, and we have no idea what the story is, and the problem with adapting Alias is that Jessica's
Doesn't do much.
her one
Well,
villain.
like they said, they
Guess
were
who her
bringing
one villain
Kilgrave.
is?
Kilgrave.
Yeah.
Purple Man.
Well, they said he's coming back in some form or fashion, which means he's probably going to be a hallucination.
Right, which is
It's gonna be Arkham Knight all over again. It's gonna be
Yeah.
He's gonna be
Nice.
I mean, I'd be okay with that. 'cause
I'm
I
fine
like
with that. That's my favorite part of Arkham Knight.
Like, I really like the Joker in that game. He's great, but like,
It's a shame I really wish that there was a remember the scene after in Arkham Knight when Selina tries to proposition Bruce,
right?
and Joker says, just got back from hell visiting your visiting Talia. She gives
yes.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know what they do with Jessica Jones season 2. Unless they do something I've suggested, which is don't do season-long arcs. Just don't for any of these shows in the future.
Give her mini cases.
Yeah, which is
Make
if
it
you
a
do go back.
detective show.
Yeah, if you go back to the first Alias run, that works. Her first storyline she is heavily involved with Captain America, so you really can't. I mean, you could do that. They have every ability to do that, but I don't think they will.
They fucking won't.
No, never.
But they could do a version of that.
The connection
Basically,
between the TV and the movies, especially the Netflix stuff, is laughable at this point.
yeah. But they could do a version of it. Like she has a tape that she thinks implicates Captain America was like cheating with, or no, he was like with a married woman. So you can't do Cap, but maybe you could do one of the lower level Avengers, perhaps.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Moon Knight, do something like that. Who knows?
Yeah.
or
Who knows?
Pressure.
or Full Killer.
Okay, they're not going to do. Okay, it needs to be somebody who's a
You
public
and Hunter
official.
have real big hard-ons for like characters that would never see the light of day.
Full Killer
Right.
has his own. No, actually, his book got canceled.
But within the context of the story, you understand why Fool Killer does not make any sense.
Because he's
Like,
Dimebag Punisher.
Because Hunter's always like, put fucking dog in anything.
But in this story, we need a character who is well known and who is publicly liked. That's why I think they would probably shift it from Captain America to just like an official, a Harvey Dent type character within this New York.
Mr. Black.
You know, maybe it's just the guy from Daredevil who's the current DA, and maybe he's become super popular. So they can take Jessica Jones storylines, and again, 3-4 episode arcs. And maybe you have like a tie between each arc, and there's some person who's behind each case secretly.
Oh, you mean like a competently done TV series?
Yeah.
And you have that,
like what Gotham should have been?
Yeah.
and
totally.
also you have that 13th episode be the setup or the tease for the next season.
You know, speaking of 13th episodes, update, I still have not watched episode 13 of Iron Fist.
I was going to bring that up.
Yeah, you're fine. You don't need to. And since you brought it up, Iron
I wish
Fist
I
season
counted the
2.
days so I could just be like X many days since Connor hasn't watched episode 13 of Iron Fist.
Again,
Carlin, honestly,
you don't need
for
to.
Iron Fist, I think the strongest thing they could do would be to not do a second season of Luke Cage and not do a second season
And
of
put them
Iron
together,
Fist.
Fierce Fire.
Yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
if they hadn't already announced Luke Cage season 2, I would say totally.
Here's my thing for Iron Fist season 2. And if they're going to keep biting off Arrow, just fucking do it wholesale. Just bite off season 6. Just have him try to balance his... Not season 6. Season 6? Season 5.
Season 5.
Season 5. Just try to have him balance the life as a corporate muggle and... Muggle. That's a Final Fantasy character. Mogul.
Like, balance being like
figure.
a public figure. Yeah.
Try to balance being a public figure and a vigilante and have a villain who's kind of trying to fuck that up.
Yeah, that's great. Like, I'm in. And it's secretly Ward. Boom. I just wrote it for it.
That's
secretly
actually,
Ward.
That actually makes Ward a whole lot more interesting than, like, I'm a wormy guy, now I have a gun.
He's working with Davos and Gao, who Davos... God damn it. So perfect.
Gao can make it out.
Guy. But yeah, Davos is there in the background somehow, working on things, doing Davos things, doing
Davos
Davos.
is a Deathstroke. He pulls Davos at the end to help him.
Then fine with them having already announced Luke Cage season 2, obviously. Please, please, please have Luke Cage be a bigger part of Iron Fist season 2. Like, there were...
And vice versa.
There were bits and pieces of that were starting to happen in Defenders, specifically like when they're at the Chinese restaurant. Like, you can see they've got that.
Them two together is like, I think the problem with Iron Fist is that the surrounding cast of Iron Fist is even worse than Danny.
They're taking themselves way too seriously.
Everybody was insufferable. So when you put Danny, this character, around people who aren't, he becomes far more tolerable because people around him are like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
There's only one person in Iron Fist season 1 who didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the best part of that season.
Right.
Every time Luke was like, yeah, you're nuts. And he's like, I have to eat a lot. It harnesses my chi. And Luke's like, okay, whatever, dude.
Yeah, but
it's
even
not chi.
Yeah. even that point from that particular episode where he's like, hey, you want the last dumpling? You want the last dumpling? Yeah, like you can just see them starting to have like a friendship, whether they realize it or not, and they need to play on that.
I agree. I totally agree with that. I think he needs to be a major part of Luke Cage season 2.
And I think their instant synergy in the penthouse fight sequence in episode 3 is teased for something I probably won't get.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and so we already know Punisher is going to happen. We don't really need to talk about that.
Did you guys see the tease at the end of...
Yeah, it's the credits, isn't it? It's basically the Sledgehammer teaser.
Yeah.
It's
a post-credit scene.
Yeah. It looks crazy. There's a dude with a weird eye and shit, and it looks like there's like androids or some.
God, I hope Punisher goes full fucking weird. I hope we get Reavers, and I hope we get fucking like Jigsaw, and I hope we get all the silliness of the comic book.
Well, I don't think we can get Reavers because they were in Logan, but yeah, something like that would be interesting.
I want to see. That's the problem, because I would pay money to see Punisher and Wolverine adapted to any kind of Scream, because that story is fucking ludicrous.
Yeah, that'd be great. So yeah, I think they should do.
Started.
I think they should do more spin-off series with some of these characters. Colleen and Misty, they were only on screen for like 2 minutes, but I thought they had chemistry.
I like how Colleen was never not without a sword.
Yeah, that was
I don't know where
nice.
she is. That thing is in her hand. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, I think we should get a night nurse show. I think, like, why not? Because I feel like they need to, because they're moving to 3 shows a year, it sounds like.
But then you'll have people on the internet complaining about how there's too much Marvel.
Right. It's superhero fatigue or whatever that means. But yeah, I think they're gonna. Yeah.
Well, with Night Nurse and what's Randy Dan's girlfriend's name?
Colleen.
Colleen.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be surprised if they live another season. In all honesty, because they're setting up Jessica and Luke to get together like they're in the comics. I mean that's what the last.
I really hope they don't keep just fridging girlfriends in these shows.
Yeah.
And Colleen, like Danny and Misty actually are together in the comics, so I'm wondering if they're going to somehow get that connection going.
Because like if Elektra, Karen, Colleen, and Claire all die, that would be fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, that would get a little bit.
Man, that reminds me of an
irritating.
article I read on CBR.com about how they wanted all the women
Jesus
on
Christ.
Arrow on the DC CW verse to die.
That's because CBR is fucking trash. Okay.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, I think they're gonna pick and choose some of that stuff. I totally think Jessica and Luke are gonna end up having a baby at some point. I feel like that's just it's meant to happen. I feel like there's certain things from the books that they're just gonna do at some point. But I see what you mean.
One of my favorite.
Honestly, I could say if Karen dies, I'd rather just I don't want to use this word, but ship Claire on back to Matt. Like,
Yeah,
if
like
she
that's
has
what
to
I
be
would
in that
want
role,
too.
and if the alternative is killing her, please just put her with someone else.
Or just have her be her
Or
independent
have her be her own-
character.
Yeah, exactly. That have her be a strong, independent woman who don't need no man.
Yeah, like why not? Because I'm tired of her like getting passed around.
She's also fucking Rosario Dawson and can carry any scene by herself. So
Yeah.
Correct.
Pretty
Like,
much.
if there's any spin-off potential in any of these characters, I think she has the most. And like a spin-off with her and all of the other side characters.
that
her-
and she's gotten to the point where you can actually put her in action sequences too, because she's been around
Yeah.
these people so long she knows how to defend herself.
Yeah, and like you could have it be like her, Patsy, and Misty are like going off on missions together or something. I
That
don't know.
sounds fucking awesome. I would watch that.
Also,
And Colleen Wing shows up too, and
Also,
like Patsy running
hap-
Krav Maga, something. I don't know.
what happened?
I could see her being a bigger part of Punisher, being that she has to go back into being the night nurse essentially for him.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Possibly.
one of I don't know, somebody will introduce him to her, or somehow he'll get that connection and find
God,
her,
she's
and
me
she'll
pulling
be
so many
forced
bullets
into
out of
it.
that dude.
Exactly.
I hope she's
mean-
like, God, I thought Matt was bad. You're a fucking idiot.
Punisher
least-
looks like it's very divorced from the rest of these shows, though.
It does. That's
Just-
why
yeah.
I don't think it's in the same city. I think he moved.
No,
Well,
he's in New Jersey, so he's your hometown now, from what I
Are you
understand.
trying,
Well, I think
are you trying
I
to
think
say
they,
New York and New Jersey the same thing? I will climb to the internet and smack you in the fucking throat.
I think they had released the names of the episodes already, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and we already
I-
know that Jigsaw is in it also. So in
Well,
case
but
you didn't know
the-
that.
The name of the final episode, I can't remember it off the top of my head right now, but it's from a storyline in the comics where he ends up going to California. So I'm wondering if that's how they're going to have him get
Yeah.
away from NYC and all that.
Kind of why I like
So-
Punisher Max so much, because Punisher Max is everywhere.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
if they did the most recent LA storyline, that would actually be very interesting, because in the run they did recently, he ends up getting hunted down by the Howling Commandos,
Oh, shit.
like a modern day version of the Howling Commandos.
Who
Interesting.
Arlen described to me are basically all Frank to the nth degree.
Yeah, they're all Frank, but with like super high tech weaponry,
Oh,
like
fuck.
like next level, like Tony Stark supplied weapons. So, like, if they did
That
a
would make
version
sense
of
because they're
that,
friend. If they did that and then actually called them modern day Howling Commandos, that's easily explainable because like if they have Stark-based weaponry, it means they're friends with Steve, which means Tony probably slid them a favor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the whole reason there is because the Punisher has too high of a body count, and the government wants him dead because he gives heroes a bad name, because they have so many heroes on payroll at this point.
It won't happen,
God,
but
the MCU is real crowded, and not in a bad way. I'm just saying, like, it is.
Yeah, and having another character in LA would be great because there's
it's very
two.
East Coast. It's East Coast focused too much.
Yeah, like it's really just Ghost Rider and Tony right now.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
I would love it if they ever did a West Coast Avengers.
I mean, yeah.
What about
they
the
need
Great
more
Lakes
West Coast
Avengers?
characters.
Oh, fuck them.
What is that, like Alpha Flight and shit?
No,
Alpha Flight's Canadian.
Yeah.
Well, no, are they part of are they their own team, or are they like absorbed into?
Yeah.
Are they both their own team and a part of an Avengers faction? I don't know.
There's like a weird like crossover. They work
Because I've only
together.
read the last time I read Alpha Flight was when I was a child and had one comic by them. Like I wasn't even aware of them again until years later.
Yeah, they've had a weird history, so I can't really say
I
where
just
they're
remember
at this point.
Sasquatch. That's it.
Yeah. You don't remember Puck? Come on, man.
I don't remember Puck.
Puck, aka
I don't think it was in the
also
one
known-
issue I had.
Also known as the guy that everyone is expecting Peter Dinklage to play. For some reason.
Oh, he's a midget. That's why.
Yeah.
Oh,
Little
does anybody
person.
want to know the Oh, sorry. What was that?
Little person.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
We have
I
to be
have
careful.
a-
We don't want PC Principal coming near shutting us down.
God damn it.
Wasn't your Phantom Zone?
Okay, I have those episode titles, so maybe we can speculate a little bit on these. So the first one is 3 a.m. That could mean anything.
Alley Cat?
Yeah,
Oh,
Two
I'm
Dead
sorry. Wait,
Men.
no, wait. Hold on, no, that's the wrong one. That's Alley Cat Blues. What is it? Fuck! I just lost this Turtles in Time reference. God damn it!
Okay. Two Dead Men. What could that be?
God knows.
Kandahar. I know what this is going to be. Kandahar is the mission that Frank went on, so that's going to be a flashback episode of him like killing terrorists, based off of the courtroom episodes.
Oh, gimme.
Resupply, Gunner, the Judas Goat. I don't know if that's a reference to something.
Judas Goat sounds familiar. I think it's something from the Max line, but I might be wrong.
That's the storyline where Terra betrays all the Teen Titans.
Shit. God damn it.
Wow, you are. I like your
On
just sitting there
fire.
facing- You're like, not that one, not that one, not that one, this one.
Crosshairs, that could be anything. Cold Steel, I don't know. Front toward enemy. Okay, well that's just a lot of these don't seem to have
That
very much
actually
meaning.
sounds like, that again sounds like a Punisher Max reference because there was a lot of the Claymores were for some reason a big part of Punisher Max.
Well, I mean, it started when Ennis did the Punisher Born storyline, and it was during Vietnam, so there was a whole lot of Claymore action in there.
Yeah, and I feel like the phrase "front towards enemy" was repeated towards the back half of Punisher Max a lot by him.
Yeah.
By, oh damn it, what's her face? Oh shit, the agent he has a love child with. That
Oh yeah.
After.
So I have
Yeah,
a
I
question.
Hmm.
After Daredevil seasons 1 and 2,
Right.
Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, were the writers writers didn't get anything, right? Or the remaining, or who are still alive from those runs, they didn't get anything, right?
Oh, you mean?
You mean like
of the comics?
royalties?
Yeah.
I mean, I think they all have their own separate deals, but I think everybody that got credited any season probably got something. Like if you pause the Defenders opening, there is an entire screen that is just people getting credited. Like it is everybody. It is it's Marv Wolfman, it's Brian Michael Bendis for a couple of different reasons. Let me think, who else gets credited? I think the creators of all of these characters.
Archie Goodwin, Roy Thomas.
Yeah, like it's a whole list. It's like if you're just watching, you're looking at the names and you're just paying attention to that. It's the only one where it is an entire list that goes from the top of the screen to the bottom of the screen.
Because there's one person who I really want to get some credit. Although his time is short, and his run is the one that Arlen was referring to earlier. That's Nathan Edmondson.
Yeah, I don't think he would have been credited for any of these. Are you talking about Defenders right now? Or are you talking about...
No, I'm talking about Punisher.
So here's the thing, that storyline I'm talking about, I'm thinking Punisher Season 2 for that. Because again, if you look at set photos from Punisher Season 1, he is on a New York ferry. And he's coming from somewhere. So he's been somewhere else planning. And he has like a beard, and he does not look like he's been in the action from the end of Daredevil Season 1 to whenever this show takes place. So it sounds like he's been collecting himself and figuring out who his next target is.
It's the long-gestated, secretive Dexter reboot.
No.
But guess who's not involved this time?
Scott motherfucking Buck.
Well, I mean, I think it just makes sense that season 1 of of Punisher is just going to be the build-up to whatever the big thing is going to be for second season. And if the final episode title for the first season of Punisher is what they're hinting at, then it would make sense that he's going to be in a different locale at the end of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. I'll just read out these other titles.
What else do you think we get as far as Netflix shows go? I mean, we talked about the potential spin-offs, but like, is there anybody who's not currently in these universes that would maybe beg to be added?
Well, there's...
I think the consensus is Moon Knight.
Yeah, everybody's favorite thing to say is Moon Knight, but there are other characters that...
There's one certain character that, even though he appeared in the quote-unquote MCU, was talked about the possibility of getting a Netflix show, and that was the Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
that
I'm
should happen,
still
but, like,
surprised they haven't.
The problem is he's an
announced
ABC
it.
property at this point.
Well, all these shows are technically produced by ABC.
Okay.
So
I thought there were some different hands involved in Netflix stuff.
no, these are all because if you pay attention to the credits, they all do say an ABC co-production. So
Okay.
there are a couple other characters who I think I wouldn't be surprised if they showed up in some of the season 2s. Shang-Chi is one that, like, if he doesn't show up in Iron Fist at some point,
I hope he does. That would make me so happy.
Like, why not? You know, he's a very similar character. They have, they have a lot of connected stories. I know that.
Do you see any like lesser? Well, Sony's already kind of, fucking picking from this pool too much. But like lesser Spider-Man characters might show up.
No, I don't think they do, which is the real sad part. Like,
well, and at this point, I think they're going to be a little bit gun-shy to really introduce a whole lot of people on the Netflix Marvel shows, because with all of the whatnot that's going on with Disney starting their own streaming service.
That's true. I was actually wondering what was going to happen to all these shows once this rolled out, because most people were like, are they going to be gone? I'm like, highly doubtful. They're Netflix originals, technically.
Yeah, they have their own deal set up.
Yeah,
so that
Arlen said last episode that it was pretty binding.
Yeah, that's my understanding.
For how long? That's the thing.
That's true. It might be indefinitely though. Netflix, they're the kind of people where
they're smart.
Yeah, they've had experiences where they've thought that a show was going to stay with them for a while, or they thought that a company wouldn't take their stuff off of Netflix because they thought their service was so good. So they try not to partner with other people anymore. So I wouldn't be surprised if when they partner with people now, they have pretty binding contracts, I'm sure.
Well, that makes sense.
I would hope so.
I would hope so too. Like, that's the thing. Even if, let's say it's like a 10-year contract, and it goes from when Daredevil Season 1 aired to 2025, let's say. That means...
That's still, 3 to 4 shows a year? Like, that's still a lot of content.
Yeah, before it goes to that Disney thing, which honestly, it might fail, based off of everything.
Even a better idea would be, why doesn't Disney just buy Netflix? Then they would have everything they need and can
that almost
continue.
happened. So, like that was a story, and then Disney decided that they could just buy something else and rebrand it and spend less money, which
Because that's
I
worked so
guess.
well. That's worked so well for other companies in the past.
Well, that's the thing. They're Disney, so they can do it. Like,
Yeah.
and I guess their bid for it is they can produce more kids content, original kids content.
Okay, I have an update from
On
about.
the Netflix stuff.
Yeah, this is an article from Screen Geek. The Disney theatrical distribution deal and the Marvel television development deal are two separate things.
Right.
So right now everything looks like it's good.
Yeah. And
I figured as much. I figured that had to be the case because it just seems like too much of a risk.
So it's probably a deal with ABC, and ABC is independent mostly. They really don't work that closely with Disney. Marvel is working with ABC basically on their own as far as all this stuff.
And
is
it's
concerned.
going swimmingly, right?
Yeah.
Not to get sucked down in the minutia of it, but I thought ABC was owned by Disney.
It is, but
They
it's,
are.
Okay.
ABC was such a long existing company before it was owned. They basically do whatever they want.
It's kind of like when they bought Marvel. Like they don't really interfere with what Marvel does. They just own them.
They
They
just
kind of let Marvel screw themselves.
they assign people to be in charge, but they really don't do much.
And I'm assuming they did the same thing with LucasArts or Lucasfilm too.
Yeah, probably. Like Kathleen Kennedy runs that shit. And it's the same in a lot of other corporations. Comcast does not tell NBC what to do, as far as I know.
Oh God, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Like,
I think the only time you'd hear about a hammer coming down is if like this owned company / property is really just fucking off. And if it cut into the mother company's bottom line, it's probably the only time I ever hear about it ever being an issue.
Yeah, but how does that explain why Gotham is still on the air?
I don't fucking know, because apparently people like Gotham, which blows my mind. It's a good show. It's really good.
Really good.
It's got the young Batman and it's got a young Penguin in it.
It's got a young Batman, but all of his villains are in the middle-aged.
right. 'Cause-
By the time he's Batman, they'll all be in fucking wheelchairs. It's great.
okay. Yeah, okay. Let's do, I guess, Defender Season 2 real quick, and then I think we can kind of wrap.
Can we just talk about what happened today? The big
What
thing?
happened
What?
today?
About Lin
What?
Min?
Alan, I was locked in an Animal Hospital all day. I have no idea what happened today.
That's DC kind of, but I don't.
Well, no, he created a bunch of Marvel characters too. He co-created.
Len
X-Men
Wein died. Yeah, that was.
X-Men as you know him today wouldn't exist without him. So.
Yeah, and I mean,
Swamp Thing is very special to a lot of people. Whether
Yes.
he's not popular, but he is like everyone I know who is like, I like Swamp Thing. They don't like Swamp Thing casually. They're like, I fucking love Swamp Thing.
Yes.
true.
And
I think that's why he made his way into a game like Injustice 2, because like he has lots of. I wouldn't say he's the most popular, but like his character fan base is hardcore.
Devoted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, you're speaking of my people.
Yes, I know. You are the living
You're-
example.
You were very accurate in your description. Yeah, when I learned Len Wein died, I was like, fuck. Yeah, and I know I saw Greg Capullo said something about like
It's
he
weird
wanted
for me
to show
because-
him what he was doing with it. So
He
yeah,
also-
It's weird for me because I fell off of comics like throughout when I was young and then up until fairly recently. So like getting back into it, all these names that I had just no like emotions towards start resonating with me later on because I'm like, oh fuck. Because as I get deeper back into it, I'm like, I know that person because they made this.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks to hear these names now. They're just kind of like, because I think somebody like last year died too. I can't remember who exactly it was.
God. Yeah, I know there was a big one that died last year, but I can't remember
Darwin
who it
Cook.
was either.
I believe
Nope.
so. Yeah.
Darwin Cook.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. Darwin
and
Cook
it was
a
this
huge
year
one.
that Bernie Wrightson died.
There we
Yeah.
go. There's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bernie hit me too. That one hit me real hard.
And another reason I wanted to bring Len Wein's passing up. One of the characters he created is most likely the villain for the antagonist for or Punisher season 1, Jigsaw.
He created
Yeah,
Jigsaw?
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, okay. Jigsaw was very different early on, though, wasn't he?
He's responsible for the best on-screen representation of a villain of all time?
Well, that
Call me Jigsaw.
Dominic Cooper just
He
not chewing on the scenery,
fucking
eating.
rules.
He doesn't. He eats the scenery and then he
Grabs
digests.
scenery down, and you can see him cutting it with a knife and fork, just slowly, and then just savoring every second of it.
So good.
I can't wait to talk in depth about Punisher fucking Warzone because it's so good.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, that sucked. That sucked earlier, learning that, and I hope, if his family or anything, I hope they're dealing with it well. I wish them the best and all that.
I'm still not sure what caused
69? That's not exactly
69.
too old to die.
Oh, God. Suppress the joke, suppress the joke, suppress the joke, suppress the joke.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah, there it is. It's easy. Just do it. Get it out of the way.
Nice. Okay, it's done. Yeah.
you mean, Arlen, when you were talking about the Warzone actor, you meant Dominic West.
Who did I say? Dominic Cooper?
Yeah.
Yes.
God damn it.
Yeah, Ben
There are
Barnes.
two Dominics and they're the same man, just from different points in time.
Ben Barnes will portray Billy Russo in the live-action Netflix series The Punisher.
A lot of people thought he was going to be playing the character John Travolta's son from the movie.
God.
But
Oh my God! Don't look. I love the '04 Punisher, but it's a little late to connect them now.
yeah,
I feel so
That would be
bad
the
for
dumbest
Thomas
fucking
Jane.
thing. Me too. God, he loves that character. Although I do think, and just tying back to, I think Ray Stevenson was an awesome Frank. Frank.
Yeah,
Castle,
no,
too.
he was great. He was great.
Do you know he actually, not to go terribly off topic, he reprised that voice in some Marvel fucking cartoon for Cartoon Network, and
Really?
he does a PG rant.
Yeah,
in
it
the
was
style
like
the Punisher would do, but he doesn't say anything terribly violent or offensive.
Yeah, it was
But
like
he
the
goes,
Marvel
he goes
Super
all
Squad.
in on this ridiculous rant, and the whole car gets progressively more uncomfortable the longer he talks.
Yeah, I think he's talking about how broccoli infiltrates good foods or something along those lines.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. It's
Before
Ray
we
Stevenson
move on,
giving this dead serious monologue.
I don't know if Eric or Andy know. This happened a few months, 3 months ago, or 2.5 months ago. He's also from Ray Stevenson is also known as Volstagg. Volstagg
really?
is now Thor.
Oh yeah, well he's a version of Thor because he
Yeah,
grabbed the hammer
Ultimate.
from the Ultimate Universe. Yeah.
Yeah, he's currently the War Thor. Which sounds so damn cheesy.
He's the War Thor?
Yeah.
That's so stupid.
Yeah. I think that's what Jason Aaron was going for.
Anyway,
interesting.
Defender Season 2. Is there any kind of speculation that we have at this point that even
no.
No.
And I mean, so
I
I'm
don't have
gonna.
a clue as to what the villain would be.
I'm gonna
here's
throw
the
out
thing,
a guess.
There's talks of Defender Season 2, but when it was first being produced, they're like, oh, this is a one-off. I'm like, oh,
yeah,
okay.
I don't believe that for a fucking second. I
Also-
don't believe for a second that they would do that.
I don't know how they can top Sigourney Weaver.
I mean,
think
let's
there's
be
a
real.
way.
Her villain literally peters out.
True.
Yeah, but she went for her time on screen. She shines.
Oh no, Sigourney Weaver's excellent as far as an acting presence goes, but her villain is not it's oh, and then she died.
Mhm.
Well, the way they could top her as a villain is just, I don't know, maybe have all the showrunners meet and talk about what they have planned.
Well, yeah, that's
Yeah.
something that I suggested last episode.
Yeah.
But not going to happen probably.
Yeah, most
Because
likely.
Marvel doesn't like to change anything. No, so I have a theory. So this kind of goes back to Jessica Jones a little bit. They set up in Jessica Jones this corporation, which the name escapes me.
Roxxon.
Roxxon, that's right.
They were also mentioned in
That's not
Daredevil.
Exxon, whatever.
And they're the ones who hire Nuke, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
The
man,
ones-
can he never come back, please?
Yep, I agree. They
He was great in
They're
Arrow.
fucking worst.
that character who starts out actually, I started out liking that character, and as the show went on, I hated that character.
But he was good on Arrow.
He was great on Arrow. Very good, very strong episode as the human target.
Another creation of Len Wein.
Oh yeah. So they heavily suggest that this corporation has something to do with Jessica's origins. You maybe get the implication that she was created on purpose, possibly. That there's some sort of conspiracy. It's very Spider-Man as far as,
or
the hints that they give us.
Anakin Skywalker.
Well, more like how... what's his name?
Osborn?
Andrew Parker? Who's Peter's dad? What's his dad's name?
I don't remember his dad's name. You're talking about the Amazing Spider-Man.
No, never mind.
No, that was his uncle.
That was his uncle.
No, his dad, but his dad had worked for Oscorp in the movies, but he was like a spy.
Yeah, they were
you remember the CIA in the comics.
Yeah, so you get sort of implications of that. So I think that by the end of season 2, they don't fully resolve that storyline. I think they touch on it. I think maybe the wider mystery all goes back to Roxxon, and they have a new name also. Like they're Roxxon with the subdivision that's responsible for these super soldiers.
I could see that. That could work really well.
And I could see them being the villain in Defenders Season 2 very easily. They're a military force. The military has had an effect on all the previous Defenders shows. They actually have more of a presence in all of these shows than the Hand has had. There's a military aspect to Daredevil Season 2. Luke's brother is a military guy. It keeps on going.
Yeah.
Rand organization. So I could see there being some sort of connection between Roxxon and them being in some way the villain of Defender Season 2. If I had to speculate.
Actually,
that works really well.
I have another one.
Okay.
They could do a retcon with the movies or with the MCU and MCU, saying that
the balls on you. Keep going.
That the much more improved hammer tech stuff we saw in Luke Cage was because Roxxon was bought hammer tech.
Yeah, possibly. You could sell it as that, and
that's
you
actually
could
a
sell
rock
it...
solid idea because the hammer tech presence in Luke Cage. Yeah. God damn you!
God.
A Bazinga.
Oh no!
See, you almost lost credit for adding the Bazinga. The hammer tech presence in Luke Cage is the most jarring MCU reference I've ever seen. I'm like, when's the last time anyone talked about Justin fucking Hammer?
Well, and just having hammer tech being absorbed into Roxxon would actually work really well because then you could lend the aspects which, like you mentioned earlier about Danny potentially, becoming more of a corporate mogul and also a vigilante. Like you can have that aspect working both angles against him for a new season of Defenders.
Oh shit!
And actually, makes sense because
something.
Justin Hammer is fucking in jail. So
IGH. This is a paragraph. This is a paragraph from the Nuke wiki, and the character Kozlov. Character Kozlov, who look into him in the comics, he turns into a giant dragon. So look that up because that's fascinating.
Really?
Yeah. Simpson soon recovered from his injuries and answered the phone to Walker, explaining that Kozlov was a great doctor. Simpson told her to get away as he did not trust Jones' judgment in the situation, blah, blah, blah. However, she refused. Simpson was greeted by Kozlov, and they discussed the recovery. When Simpson requested a red pill, he was informed that the protocol had been changed since an incident in Damascus. Now, for those who do not remember Luke Cage Season 2, what is the name of the bullet which penetrates his skin? The Damascus bullet.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
IGH was involved very clearly in creating the bullet that killed Luke Cage. So, I mean, there are all these connections that are pre-established that might even be on accident from the sounds of it, because what we know about the writers' rooms and them not talking to each other at all before writing any of these shows. So, yeah.
Well,
I think
hopefully
IGH,
they'll notice these things then.
Yeah, hopefully. Because if I'm noticing these things and they aren't, but IGH could definitely be the villain. If they aren't dispatched by the end of Jessica Jones Season 2, which
True.
is a possibility.
Well,
She
I
could-
mean, with Marvel's track record with villains, they probably will
Ooh boy!
Yeah. Yeah. But, yeah, if this Kozlov guy isn't just in prison, I mean, and even then, it could be, yeah, he gets sent to prison, but he still has people that work for him.
We were just talking about that in Pixels the other day when someone brought Doctor Strange. They're like, yeah, this villain could be the same in every Marvel movie. It would make a difference. And like, yeah, Marvel's got a big problem with their on-screen villains at the moment. Like,
Except for Kingpin.
Kingpin and Loki. You can't even say Loki anymore because Loki's a full fucking face turn.
be. Yeah,
Well,
Loki's an anti-hero now.
Yeah.
So Fisk is really the only villain they have left who is kind of
And
still
he's not...
established, still strong, and has not been disposed of after the first encounter.
Well, Zemo they could still do something with later.
I
but-
fucking love Zemo, and I'm glad he's not
Yeah.
dead.
Yeah, same here.
Same with Ulysses Klaue.
Yeah.
Well, Claw's not really been positioned as main villain yet. He's just a guy.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but the bit, his bit in the trailer for Black Panther got me so hyped.
That's because Andy Serkis is fucking amazing, and he can do anything.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You want
Also-
proof? Go watch Planet of the Apes movies.
Yeah, I saw the scene that you said got chills down your spine.
From Rise?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Not to go off on a tangent, but when he says no the first time in Rise, I almost shat my pants.
Oh, that's
Yeah, 'cause-
incredible.
That is...
It's so
because I
so
was
good.
like, because in the back of my head, it's like, yeah, the apes actually talk. I wasn't fucking ready for it.
Mm-mm.
It chilled my bones. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah. And Malfoy finally got what was coming to him.
Dude, someone had to remind me later on that was Malfoy. I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah. And remember when we were doing flash reviews? I pointed out the whole apes thing, the connection with
Yeah,
Gorilla
that
City
he
or
made
whatever
a
that
Planet
was.
of the Apes reference, and he's in Planet of the Apes.
It's so good. All right. Does anybody else have any like theories on what Defenders Season 2 could be?
I don't have a clue because like it's
No.
all going to depend on what the overall villains are. They have to come together and fight. And I
Mhm.
kind of like the idea of a big corporate like mega power that produces super soldiers and weapons better than I do like some mystical humbo jumbo with the fucking hand.
Moon.
Yeah. So I hope
Well,
they hire me
so
to
what-
write Defenders Season 2. I will take the job easily.
I think
So,
I
yeah.
think Defenders 2 has a better chance of having a more interesting villain just based on the fact that it's not going to be riding on the shoulders of Daredevil being the most successful of the small screen MCU shows.
Yeah, fair. Then they announced Season 2 is just the writer of Jessica Jones and she's bringing Kilgrave back. That would be terrible. Yeah.
Please, and also, I mean, the only thing I would probably take is like if somehow Kilgrave is resurrected through whatever, and maybe he kind of brings together some lesser surviving Netflix.
There is a
villains.
way. There is a way to bring him back. It would be really hard to sell on screen. But they do set something up. There's a kid he uses his powers on for a very long time towards the last 5 episodes, and it's the most interesting part of the last 5 episodes, which is why I even remember it. In the books, there's a storyline of Daredevil in which he converts an entire group of kids so that they all have his powers.
Holy shit!
And they eventually grow so strong that they are able to overpower him collectively.
So basically,
So-
what happened in Iron Fist with Bakuto?
Yes. So if there was a group of kids who just find each other and they all have his powers, and maybe like he's alive in them
Are you
somehow.
saying I could potentially see the hilarity of Danny Rand screaming, "I am the Iron Fist," and punching an 8-year-old in the face?
Yes, you
Sold.
could.
Sold.
But there's a way for Kilgrave to come back through these like kids who have become little mini Kilgraves, and they're like brainwashed by him, and maybe or they just have instructions by him, and he's like, and I could see that being a thing.
This sounds like a lot of the new Saw movie.
Yeah, it's like he's traded these little disciples who he's told to do things at exactly a certain moment, and like he has like it'd probably be like DVDs or flash drives or something.
And like, if they brought Kilgrave back and like maybe brought Diamondback back,
I mean,
and had him not be an independent goon, and had him kind of bounce off other villains. Basically, how the Legion of Doom in Legends of Tomorrow works so well is you took these villains who were, except for Reverse Flash, who's charismatic all on his own, you took these like bunch of villains and threw them together, and all of a sudden you have an interesting combination.
Oh god, okay, so that is the other possibility. Wilson Fisk brings together a super team of villains.
Yes.
To fight the Avengers. I'm
Bullseye.
in.
Bam.
Like,
Yeah, that's...
Gao has survived, and she's there. And she's the only hand person I would want to come back, because she's the most interesting of them. So, yeah.
Okay, just a quick touch on Defenders again. Just to go back to the discussion. Like, was anyone kind of let down with how, like, they build up Gao over a few shows
and then
as someone who's scary, but you don't really know why, and then it's like, oh, she just has force powers. Oh.
Yeah. I mean, we knew she had force powers, but we thought there was maybe something more to her. Like, I thought she would, like, turn into a demon, like at the end of Golden Child or something.
Honestly,
a lot of people thought she was a dragon in disguise. Like, that's why she was so scared of people, because, like, no, like, Madame Gao is not a fucking human. Like,
yeah.
Honestly, when she started doing the force stuff, Duel of the Fates started playing in my head.
God damn you. But if she had turned into, like, a demon at the end, if all 5 of them, I remember people thought that Alexandra was, who the fuck did they think she was? One of the devils in the Marvel Universe.
Fing Fang Foom?
Mephisto?
No. Yeah, Mephisto. A lot of people thought she was Mephisto. Imagine if they had gone that direction. Like,
oh god, that would have been possibly the hardest thing for them to explain well.
Like, who are we fighting? The literal devil.
Yeah.
I think they're saving that for the MCU.
I hope
I don't
not.
think so.
Unless he's involved with another group that doesn't.
Unless we get Spider-Man One More Day, which I will. That's it.
No.
No, I'm talking about with Thanos.
They're unlikely to do Mephisto or anything that is
remotely related,
or anything specifically a religion, based off any religion.
Spiritual.
Because they have to appeal to China. This is an unfortunate fact of modern movie making, and China does not want anything strictly religious in the movies that they show. So, like, there was a big concern with Doctor Strange because they had to make it seem like they were not making a movie that was pro-Buddhism or any religious affiliation.
That and, like, the magic is basically some kind of loose, kind of ancient science, basically.
Like, they had to make it arguable that it's not religion because China does not like religion. So the chances of us ever getting, like, a demon character as a villain in one of the MCU movies, in the most pure sense of he is the literal devil.
You know, this whole thing makes sense as for the Doom movie. Why that turned into how that turned out.
No, I think that's just Hollywood fuckery.
Yeah, that's just Fox does not think that a group of heroes that were caused by a space radiation.
No,
they
I'm
don't
talking about
think
the video game.
What are you talking about?
He's
That
talking
has
about
nothing
the
to do with
Doom
it.
movie with The Rock.
God damn you, Alan. No, that is... Okay, China wasn't a thing then. Post The Dark Knight, the way that China is handled in that movie...
Did somebody say Dark Knight?
Yeah. Studios are afraid to show China as a bad guy because China banned that movie immediately.
Well, that, and there's so much money coming from China with films coming from America.
Because it's gotten to the point where Warcraft can come out and make $35 million here. And it can make, I think it topped out at like $400 million in China.
Something insane like that. Yeah.
And even if you're only getting 70% of that, because China likes to keep a lot of...
At the risk of sounding slightly like xenophobic or something like that, it almost kind of sucks that, like, movies are made that are going to appeal to a wide market have to so carefully tiptoe around one specific market.
I mean, to be fair, for a very long time, everybody around the world had to do that, and that market was America.
Yeah.
So
Also, don't forget Wonder Woman.
It doesn't. It's like angry bad. I'm like, it's something peculiar that is always like, why does it have to be that way?
I know what you mean, and it's
because then you hear about things that are like, oh well, it didn't do well in China, so we're not getting a sequel. It's like, but what the fuck? Why can't we have nice things?
Well, that's a lot of times that's like a breaking point thing. Like,
yeah.
You have a movie where it's on the line of being successful, and then China could come in and save that movie completely, or save it from being considered a failure in the eyes of the studio that's producing it. There were a lot of people who were actually worried about Spider-Man Homecoming because its numbers aren't that different, actually, from Amazing Spider-Man 2. They're actually pretty close
That's
in terms
upsetting.
in terms of domestic and international, minus China. Now they're saying that this might break records in China for like all time, and they're not worried about it anymore at all because of how well it's going to do in China. And just put the numbers on there, and they don't have to tell you how much they actually got. Even if, again, the Chinese markup is huge because China wants to keep as much of it as they can. They want to keep as much of the earnings as possible for their own Chinese film market, which is understandable. And with the amount that they get back, it's basically like if they produce their own movie.
Yeah, and again, I have nothing against the Chinese, like especially as far as movies go. Like, they produce some kick-ass fucking films.
Yeah, some of that stuff's really good.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, Asia alone, like, makes some of my favorite films ever.
Hey, yo, what up?
Whole section of the world.
and
you guys,
representative.
that section of the world has the market cornered on great horror. That in Europe, they seem to be doing it better than we are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Do you have any like final thoughts on this stuff?
Not really.
Anything?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess we can do outros then.
Yes, I'm Connor McGraw. You can follow me on Twitter at Westward Commander. I'm still in tweet, but hey, follow me and maybe I will.
You can follow me. I'm at AAHaro on Twitter. Get my weird thoughts, and yeah, that's a thing. Also, lostharo.wordpress.com for all kinds of stuff. And so yeah.
You can follow me on Twitter at the Alan Muir, where I'm currently, or where my most recent tweet was attacking Marvel customer support. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, and like Video Game Hour on iTunes. Also, give us some reviews, please.
You can just find me floating around the Phantom Zone. I'll probably put various stuff up about what comics you should buy and why, if you like certain things, you're a bad person.
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at AndySites117. That is ANDYSITZ117.
Alrighty. That's been your Phantom Zone Defenders review that is one episode longer than we intended. Thanks, Alan. I'm just kidding. phantomzone.wordpress.com. Go to the YouTube link in there. Subscribe. Get us 100 so we can change our URL.
Actually, I'm still beholden to the thing I said in Facebook. If we get 200 iTunes subscribers, I'm saying Rock Lobster by B-52s.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Right. I better see those numbers fucking overnight.
Bazinga.